Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Earth Awakening. And today we welcome to the show for the second time returning champion, Jeroen de Wit.
I'm so happy to be back. It's always so fun talking to you.
Thank you, Jeroen. And before we begin with diving deep into the universe and quantum and all of that, what is new in your life? What is the most exciting thing right now, bringing your heart to race?
There's so many different things. So I've had more time to myself, and so I've been able to like savor more slow moments. So that means for me, like waking up and just staring out the window, looking at the trees with a cup of tea and my cats. I am also building a relationship with a feral kitty that I've rescued from the mountains. I've had her for a year now, and she was really scared, and now I get to pet her. And I mean, she's like such a love bug and such a little sweetie. And then, going into nature, jumping into creeks. I'm also creating a course with a fellow QHHT practitioner. And what else am I doing? I'm developing QHHT residencies all over the world. I did one in Tanzania just a couple of months ago. So it's like I've been able to like work at my business more as supposed to be in the business. And it's been super fun. I feel very motivated and excited. Also, I studied with Yvonne Smith. She's a expert in the field of abduction therapy. So to help people that have partial memories or like woke up with marks on their body or have had like uncommon experiences, seeing lights in the sky, UFO, UAP, contact. And so that's always been such an interest for me. So I studied with her a couple months ago. And so that's part of my offerings now as well. And I'm doing lots of groups right now, lots of group regressions. I really enjoy collaborating with other people. Like I just did this sort of a sound bath and regression experience a couple weeks back. So I feel like we were just talking for a little bit earlier. Like we asked each other about like, where is it going to go, this spiritual sort of world? I was thinking, I think it's about collaboration, like to mix modalities with others and to work together to create, more community instead of like just being in your own little like lane, but to like collaborate and mix energies. I think it's super fun.
I love it. Thanks for sharing all of that. So we will be posting your links below so people can inform themselves what an amazing offering you're having right now when they watch this video. So let's dive a little bit deeper into abduction. What does this word mean at the end of the day? And before we dive into that, I want to tell you about a meme that I saw. And it was like fishing, a guy fishing and putting the fish back into the water. And it was titled something like, have you ever heard of a fish speaking about alien abductions?
Wow. That is profound, actually. That is really profound. I mean, yeah, the word abduction therapy, it's kind of victimizing, So, since I've studied this, I've noticed like in my community, the people, they're already more accepting of it. So the cases that I've worked with where this came up. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of been congruent in all the cases that I've worked with where people did find themselves aboard a spaceship and there were like experiments being done or samples taken. But then when I asked for clarity regarding this, what was going on is that they as souls had opted into this experience prior to coming into this lifetime to help out this alien race to further their evolution and to have their own learning experiences in this. So the cases that I have uncovered were people that their lineage has experienced abductions, like contact with aliens. And oftentimes genetic material was taken and hybrid races are being created. And I think there's like 4 generations of them. I worked with one woman who called herself to be part of the Essassani. It's like one of these generations of hybrid people. And I mean, for me, like there was nothing nefarious about it. So, I mean, I understand it can be very traumatizing to go through these experiences if you are in a life that where there's nothing like this part of it. You're just living a very sort of normie life, just fitting into society, being in survival mode, and then this crazy alien stuff happens. And in that sense, abduction therapy probably resonates with that experience. And the people that I've been working with, it was already more sort of an accepted part of their worldview that, we are more galactic citizens ourselves, or, we could even say aliens on the planet. So it wasn't that weird or that shocking when these people found out about it. People in sessions found out about having hybrid children, and they found out that sometimes at night they go visit them, or there's other sort of abduction experiences where they get to be with their children because these children. So take it way back. So this particular sort of alien race that is doing these abductions that I've worked with, I'm not saying that's the only type, but this is what I experienced. They explain that they are a future iteration of humanity. So not as alien as we thought they were, but when they went through, and they're from a different timeline. So when they went through what we are going through as humanity right now, all these upheavals and, are we going to self-destruct or pull through this kind of space? They decided that it was all the fault of humans having emotions, that emotions were the cause of all this violence to reactionary behavior. And so they decided to breed this out of humans to become more rational. And so when they did that, with that went, there were physical changes because they look like the gray aliens, but also the ability to procreate went with it. And so they had to resort to cloning to procreate. And so they did this. They moved to a different planet because I think they destroyed Earth. And they also destroyed this new planet. Part of them went underground, and then part of them lived on a spaceship above that planet. And they were granted permission to go back in time and go back into Earth's timeline before this split off happened, and to create a hybrid species so they could continue to exist. Oh, because the cloning no longer worked. It had been done so many times that it was no longer working. So they were allowed to come back to this particular time and create hybrid species. And so there were souls that were going to be incarnated as human beings that said, yes, I'm okay with helping you. It could be that they were part of this sort of future iteration of humanity, or they just were like loving souls that just wanted to help out. So, this is very different from, back in the 80s. I remember when Whitley Strieber's book came out, Communion. I don't know. Do you know that book? It's got this
No.
alien face on the cover. And, it was kind of contexted with all this fear, like, oh my God, are we being secretly invaded by aliens? They're doing stuff to us. What the hell's going on? What I've found that in at least the cases I've worked with, which probably is not the only case, but yeah, it's it's more of a consensual experience. Yeah.
And you were talking about the Essassani all the time, like Bashar's race. Everybody knows Bashar, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't know this. I've been to Bashar's channelings a couple of times, but I've never heard him talk about it. And I didn't find out about this until afterwards. And the lady that was in this particular regression, she didn't know about this neither. So it was just it came out of her, she didn't know about it. Yeah. And then I found out that Bashar is a channeling.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah. I love it when people have no idea about something, then they go into hypnotherapy, and then they start talking about this kind of stuff, and everybody's like, yeah, that's this. And yes, yes. And the people
Yes.
themselves are like, what? It's a thing?
It's still mind blowing when it happens. I had a woman who in a session was speaking to me as an Andromedan, from the Andromedan star system. But I didn't know it at the time. So I asked her, well, do you know where you're from? And she blurts out M31. I was like, wow, I've never heard that. So as she was in session, I pulled up my phone and I typed it in the search bar of the Safari browser. And then it populates with the search result, and it pulled up the Andromedan star system. And she didn't know this as a human being, that M31 was the scientific, name for the Andromedan star system. So fascinating.
That's really awesome. It's like even if you wanted to make this stuff up, you wouldn't be able to because you don't even have the knowledge about what is M31 or these kind of
Yes.
numbers.
Yes. Yeah. It's always, for me, it's fun, when I'm working with people that go into these alien experiences and I ask them to describe themselves. I'm always trying to see if I've encountered this particular species before. They describe their feet, maybe three toes or claws or three fingers or blue skin or like gray green or like the big bug eyes or like little beady eyes or just very different looking. It's always very exciting to me when I'm talking to these beings. And then sometimes when, Arcturians show up a little, quite a bit. Arcturians, Andromedans, Pleiadians, those are kind of the known ones. Some blue avians have been there in the past. What else has been there? Alpha Centaurians, and then a whole range of beings that, they didn't know the name of where they were from. Excuse me, and they just look very different. But there's so many. The universe is teeming with life.
And if you had to guess, like, how many different species have you encountered so far? What would you say?
Maybe hundreds. Yeah, yeah, so many. Yeah,
And
yeah.
still counting.
Yeah, still counting, yes. And then, not all of them are sort of invested in Earth. Like sometimes I'm talking to someone on a different galaxy and they might know that Earth is very far away, but there's no mixing with it. But often, especially with Arcturians, Pleiadians, Andromedans, and Alpha Centaurians, they are invested with the evolution of humanity on the planet. So many of them are in human bodies right now, incarnate in human bodies. We call this the star seeds. Um, or they're also like around the planet on a different vibrational plane, observing, kind of cloaked, learning, sending love, inspiring people, meaning like people that are that have the ability to channel or just to like receive downloads to help elevate the frequency of consciousness on the planet. This is what I'm hearing through the different sessions over and over and over again.
So let's speak a little bit about, for example, Pleiadians and Arcturians, because those are the ones that pop up for me the most, And it's like, how do you perceive them to be? Like the Pleiadians versus, like, in contrast to the Arcturians, what would you say is the difference in energies?
It's a generalization because,
Yeah.
Pleiadians, Arcturians, the star systems are vast. It's just like planet Earth, it's not like just one type of being. But in general, I would say I've noticed that Pleiadians, like if you've read Dolores's books, Three Waves of Volunteers, I don't know if you're familiar, but what I've also heard in my sessions is that Earth was ascending at her own pace and humanity was kind of lagging behind. And when the atomic bomb was detonated in the 40s, lots of kind of galactic species were alerted, like, oh my God, like the kids found the matches, they're going to blow themselves up, let's intervene. And so one of the ways it was decided that this was going to happen by incarnating these alien species into human bodies to anchor this higher frequency. And what it looks like in my sessions is that Pleiadians were part of like the first wave. They came first. I have some Pleiadian lineage as well, I found out. And these are the beings that, in my perspective, work with the heart energy. So they're here to anchor more of the heart based beingness on the planet. Arcturians seem to be more like the scientists and the creatives and the artists as well. I would say, this is such a generalization, but this is what I've uh, uncovered so far. Yeah. And then the Andromedans are, they are bringing the knowledge of the ascended masters, like Christ or like Isis or, all the ascended masters that we know about. That kind of knowledge is, as far as I know, more of Andromedan origin.
I love it. Okay, so if I told you that I perceive the Pleiadians to be like fluffy, very cute, sweet, like
Yes,
coochie coochie, and versus the Arcturians, I perceive them to be more like, there you go, in your face. I
right.
love you. Bye bye.
Yes.
Peace. What do you reckon? Does that resonate with you as well?
That resonates as well. Yeah, it's more clear cut with the Arcturians, even though it's from a place of love. And yes, I think Pleiadians are more like gentle and fluffy. Like you said, this is different way of describing, what I just described.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So let's move on a little bit deeper into this kind of stuff. What are you hearing recently? So overall, because you told me that you have had amazing conversations about how Earth was seeded. So let's go there first
Hmm.
and then move over into, have you received something new about what's going on right now? What's awaiting us on the door of 2026?
Okay. So, I mean, this is, again, this is just my experience doing sessions and similar information coming forward through the different clients that had no knowledge of each other. And so, what I've learned is that Earth was seeded deliberately by different alien species as an experiment. It was seeded as a sort of Garden of Eden, but then Source had a different plan. There was sort of like a lower frequency was added in. So souls could have a different type of evolutionary journey, more through duality and contrast. And over the millions of years or billions, I don't know how much time passed, but different alien races have added genetic material to the human genome. So we are really a hybrid species ourselves, being made up of these different galactic races with different agendas, some of them to further evolution, some of them to push us further down into sort of ego to be able to control us more. But yeah, this has been going on for a long time. It's not just something that is of the now, like we're seeing it in the news now and more people become aware of it, but this has been centuries, millennia. I've regressed so many people down to like indigenous lifetime somewhere, very rural, where life is very simple. And then I'm thinking I'm just dealing with a very normal earth life until they start speaking about the sky people or the watchers or the ancient ones and how they come down and teach them about how to work the land, how to, heal, things like that. So, and also, I remember this session of this woman who was a Neanderthal person, and there were also the Sky people, and they had sort of mixed with a neighboring tribe, and when that happened, they lost their sort of intuitive way of being. Like these Neanderthal people, they were able to communicate through telepathy and sort of like have a more heart-based or intuitive connection. And when these particular space people came, their neighboring tribe, they were more advanced in their thinking, but they kind of lost this sort of intuitive sense. And so, this particular tribe that she was from declined, the invitation to work with these space beings. So it was very interesting. And another session I remember was a person who was more sort of like a primate, sort of like an ape-like person, but they lived in communities and there was some kind of writing that they knew how to do. And at one day, this spaceship landed and some of their people were taken aboard and genetically altered and then put back. And they became sort of the leaders of their tribes. There has been, like, over the millennia, like, so much intermixing of the different species in different ways. Like, sometimes more covert or like secretive, but also times like, the times of the pyramids being built or the Sphinx in Egypt, there was um, like galactic communication. One part of the function of the pyramids was to send energy back and forth, communication back and forth between the different star systems. I had a client that described that the Sphinx used to have more of a like a feline type face before it was knocked off and replaced by a human face. And this was done to honor the connection with the Lyrans, the feline or the lion star people from the star system Lyra. And so at that time, there was way more communication with these other galactic races. And she also told me that underneath the Sphinx, there is this space built that holds artifacts to to be able to communicate with different races, but that it's still sealed energetically because we're not ready to have access to these objects again yet, but that it's coming. So, I mean, I'm just like, as I'm talking, I'm just thinking about different sessions that are coming in. I mean, how it's changed my perspective on this alien phenomena. In the beginning, when I first heard about it, it sounded like something that I'd known, but it still felt very other. Like these beings are very other. They're from a completely different galaxy. They're not human. But to the work that I'm doing, it seems like, we're more galactic ourselves than we have understood ourselves to be. We see ourselves as we're humans, and this is what we are. Our genome is human, but like genetically, we're really hybrid people. Then as a soul, there's many star seeds here, and really everybody alive on the planet has had experience in different places, different dimensions, different galaxies, because we are all source. But not every soul decides to bring that experience into this lifetime. Like before we started recording, we were talking about our parents. And so different people decide not to bring that information in because it doesn't serve the purpose that they're serving here. But many of the star seeds, like yourself and me, and many of the other people that listen to this podcast, they decided to bring in these frequencies and energies from other galaxies to help anchor them on the planet, to help raise the frequency of consciousness on the planet. So again, you know, another experience from a different species, bringing this into this experience. And then, the artifacts, like the old structures that we're uncovering now, that have been built with alien technology, or knowledge, or that are honoring, alien species. I mean, I think we're way more intermingled than we have been realizing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, as above, so below. If you look at a lot of people here on Earth, like just humanity per se, it's like we have been intermixing so much. Like people from Latin America with people from Europe and with people from Asia, and like we have been intermixing so all over the place. I was recently talking to a woman, and she was telling me that she has a lot of different cultures basically in her blood, like her ancestors. And she told me she had ancestors from Greece, but she had never been there, didn't speak the language. And it was kind of funny, because usually some people, like, they start conversations like, what's your name? And where are you from? Right? And when people come to me like that, I say, well, the name is this, and I'm from Earth. I'm an Earthling. Like, I was born here and raised here as well, for the most part. And you?
Exactly.
So I guess it's the same with other galaxies and all of that. It's like it's a wild mix everywhere, kind of.
And it reminds me of another thing that I've heard in sessions, is that Earth is like it's also an experiment for different galactic races to try and live together, because there's so many different species incarnate on the planet right now, that it's also an exercise in like trying to like live together. That's it.
We come full circle to where you started, because you started by cooperation.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's right.
There you
Yes.
go.
Like, I think it's really, I mean, this is kind of a different subject, so I don't know if you want to go here, but I think it's really wonderful that we're talking about these things right now. This has become kind of like, I mean, in my world at least, like normal. I was born in 1971. When I grew up in a small town that we talked about earlier, there was nothing like this. Like nobody talked about this stuff. It's not like I knew this consciously that I had this, knowledge, but I always felt so different. And it wasn't until I started seeking out experiences that more resonated with me more, that I got to know myself better, and to where I'm now talking with you and working with these clients that go into different places, different spaces, different galaxies, that this is now part of our conversation. That this is now, I mean, it seems like from my perspective, we've made such a quick evolution in the past decades to where we're now interacting, working together, and talking about this stuff. I mean, it's really wonderful, I think, to be able to connect with you in a different part of the world, from a different background, and other people that I work with and get to work with, and to be able to collaborate and to learn from each other. I think, diversity is wonderful. I'm so glad that there's not just one species, one way of being, one way of thinking, because we all hold such different wisdom and we can benefit from each other. I really think, we do.
Yeah, that's really so. For me, equality doesn't have this normal kind of how I was taught what equality is. Equality is treating everyone the same. But for me, it's not like that. Like equality is when I treat you the way that you also prefer to be treated in some kind of way. You know what I mean? And also equality is full of diversity because you have gifts that I may not have like that, in that expansion. And I have other things going on that may not be from your preference, or you may not be as good at them as I am, and things like that. So when we cooperate, we come together and I honor your light and where you are able to shine completely mega bright and you go do that. That's your thing. And when you're done doing that and something else pops up where I am like shiny, then I step in and I do that. And I also see that as an opportunity for us to be able to just say, okay, like there is a power balance between all of us. There is no competition. There is no hierarchy or anything like that. You are good at ABC, you go do ABC. I'm good at XYZ, I go and do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my understanding of cooperation, kind of.
Yeah, I love that. That's very moving. I really it's home kind of because that's a beautiful world that you're describing, which is one that I want to live in too, where we've all become so like fully ourselves, so authentic that we can inspire each other with our different qualities. And I agree equality is not fitting everybody in the same kind of mold because who decides what that mold is going to look like? Um so, so I think once we all learn to love ourselves completely and to recover all the aspects of us that have been neglected or demonized or closeted, whatever, and we're able to shine that light, like just like you said, and interact with it. To me, that is, it feels like a place that I've known somewhere because I've always kind of like had this compass needle pointing towards that way. So it's kind of not surprising that this is what I do with my work to help people recover their true authentic self. But yeah, that's my ideal, to live in a world where that is possible. And so to connect with you and other people that are on that same path is just so heartwarming and supportive. And it's such a, it's sort of, it inoculates me against the other things of this world that do not function in the way that we just talked about. Like, people that suppress this kind of like authenticity or that are seeking to align themselves with external power structures and to fit into a box because that's where they feel safe. But yeah, we're having a lot of that going on here in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. And we've come full circle again, where we are at the topic of normalization again. We are normalizing with these interviews, with these conversations, these topics that are just so normal. It's like the paranormal is actually not to be engaging in these conversations. What did you have for coffee this morning or to drink, or what was your breakfast? You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly the point, to normalize this. Because what you were talking about as well is the normalization of these life negating, very low vibrational behaviors and belief systems that had been going on for ages, for thousands of years now. And now I'm moving back into normalizing QHHT sessions. When was your first one, your second one, etc.? It's like, what did you have
People
for
talking about like
breakfast?
plant medicine, ayahuasca, or like breath work or somatic work. It's so wonderful now. Like when I first started doing QHHT back in 2006, it was just like the few hippies that I knew that would come in for sessions. But now it's really like everybody, and it's so wonderful. Like everybody from all walks of life, they've had some kind of like awakening, be it to plant medicine or personal crises or like spiritual experiences. And people are coming online, and it's just, I feel really blessed and grateful to live in a world where I get to be part of this journey of human evolution, where this is like coming back. It's so exciting. And to help with that, this is also like wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. What you just said, because that was me this morning. I was like, my gosh, we're really living in a pivotal time. It's like, oh my gosh, I came here right now. And I was like, I had this moment of, my God, my God, like, I can't believe I'm here. I don't know. Do you have that as well?
Totally. Yes. I do have those moments. I totally have those moments. Yeah. Where it's almost like, I don't know, like I wonder if it's almost like looking at Earth like from this like other maybe alien perspective, let's call it that. Like where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like I'm here right now and I'm getting to eat all this wonderful vegan food. I'm getting to jump in the ocean or the creeks or pet cats or just laugh at cat videos online or like talk with friends or like with you as well. Like friends in another place about all of this stuff. And it's so different from how I was raised. And it feels like such yummy, delicious freedom and joy and beauty and connection. And it's, I mean, especially like for the place that I came from, this is such a antidote or such a healing experience, from thinking that I was the only one that was weird or not feeling good enough or feeling crazy, like we talked about, being gaslit by parents, teachers, educational systems, culture, society, and now finding community and collaboration with other people that have gone through the same journey and that are also coming back online and awakening. I mean, it's just like such a love fest. I love it.
Yeah, indeed, exactly. It's a blessing. Like, my gosh, I love it. And I love how you talk about like what are your favorite experiences on earth? Maybe that's something, it's like if we start with gratitude every day, it's a blessing already, right? So what are
Yes.
your top 3 things on earth overall?
Wow. I mean, in such awe of things. Like yesterday, I was driving through the mountains here and it was like crazy dramatic sky with like a beautiful rainbow. Like it just moved me to tears. It was so beautiful. But like in general, I would say food. I'm vegan, and there's such creativity in vegan food here in Los Angeles. So I I mean, I will drive like half an hour to this French vegan bakery it's in Pasadena. I don't mind mentioning their name because they're amazing. It's Idea Claire. It's French pastries. It's just fucking amazing. So to drive there, I find any excuse to go there to just eat their pastries and drink their tea. And then nature, you know, I am lucky to live in California, which has amazing, amazing variety of landscapes. I go into the Los Angeles forest quite a bit, and also to Ojai. It's this like sort of mini Sedona that's outside of Los Angeles, about an hour and a half drive. And it's really like a vortex place. It's pristine, pristine, beautiful energy. Nature is like gorgeous. And so I love hiking in this like natural landscape and then swimming in the creek. I love like creek walking, creek swimming, and looking at all the animals. Like I'm excited to see like lizards or what are they called? Forget their name. Dragonflies. Yes, dragonflies or deer or I've encountered some bears as well. It was very exciting, a little scary, and even snakes. I mean, it's teeming with life and bugs, like all kinds of weird bugs that I've never seen before. And I'm just in awe of the natural beauty of these places. I have another Instagram account where I'd like photograph these things. You can see some of the pictures in the back where I just focus on like landscapes and natural world. There's no humans in it in general. So those so food, nature, and then what else? I mean, I love being in healing spaces with people, like, be it in one-on-one sessions or talking with you or doing groups or just encountering or dancing. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's so much. Like, I love to dance and be with friends, and great music. Art is beautiful. So I don't know where to stop. Like, there's so much beauty here in that sense.
Exactly. Thank you very much for sharing all of that. I encourage everybody watching right now, think about your top 3 to 5 on Earth. What is the best of human experience? When you go back and you are ready here, and other souls come to ask you, what would you say?
Oh my god, yes, that's a good like, when you're on the other side, and you go like, "Oh my god, what did I do?"
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, like, humor is so fun here too. I don't know if there's, like, this type of humor and, like, laughing about these, like, random things, like, even just, like, scrolling memes, it's like this morning, waking up, I was, like, looking at some memes that just had me, like, dying laughing. It was so fun. Like, it's so random and so specific, embedded in, like, culture or trends. Like, it's just so fun. So I don't know. I think I would just talk about these like random small moments of like laughter and food and sex and dancing and nature. I don't know. Like there's so much. Like once I start talking, I'm always feeling like I'm forgetting some moments that I'm not doing any justice to them, but there's so much. Yeah. I really can't believe like how much joy there is to be had growing up the way that I did and now having more access to myself, like the ability to feel and to experience and to suck the joy out of every experience has like exponentially like, you know, make getting bigger. And I'm excited about it.
Awesome. So, to finish off this interview, would you like to share what is waiting for us in 2026? Have you heard any news from your
Oh
QHHT
yes.
sessions?
Thank you. Yes. So, what I've been hearing through different sessions is that there is this influx of high frequency energy codes coming to Earth. I've asked about like what that looks like, and I mean it's a good experience. I asked if it was like a solar flare, and it's like yes, but not quite. But it's this like influx of cosmic energy that's supposed to be happening. I think next year or the year after. I'm not sure about the time, but it's gonna be very helpful for people that are already on this path of awakening because they're going to get up leveled or they're going to absorb these codes and like get more in touch with their clairs or they're going to get more intuitive. But it's a little rough for people that are not on this path, that are not trying to like spiritually awaken because it will kick up stuff that they haven't dealt with. So it's almost like bringing water more to a boil where stuff is going to come to the surface that is not like part of it. Um so that's the short of it, what I've heard. But it's a good thing. It's helping us evolve. It's like a big turbo boost upgrade that we're going to be experiencing. And they said it's kind of like a momentous thing, even though it's been building through the sun codes that are coming to the planet right now. There have been different ways, but this is going to be something different. And again, I don't know what it looks like, but it will be noticed by people that are already on this path of awakening. It will be like a bump up in
Thank you very much. So, I want to ask if you have a parting message for the people out there. Is there anything that you are doing right now that people need to know about, or whatever you want
oh
to
yeah, that
say
I'm
at
doing.
all?
Thank you. Yes. So, you have people listening from different places in the world. So I often do virtual group regressions. Go to my website and you'll find the next one coming up. Like, I don't know when you're going to post this, but the first one coming up is December 6th. So you can join me and experience your own past life, different life, future life, whatever you're going to get into. So that's exciting. So yeah, go to my website. What else? And I thought you asked for a message. So, I mean, what I'm hearing over and over through my sessions is my own experience as well for people to really tap into their joy, to choose joyful experiences, but make your own needs your priority over the needs of others. It's really like when you start to love yourself and create the conditions that you thrive in, that you're going to be more of service to the world and to others because you're giving from a full cup rather than an empty one. So, in terms of a message, that's the message that I would give you. Go for joy.
Thank you very much for being here with us. And yes, engage in joy.
Yes, exactly. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you for having me on here again.
Thank you, Jeroen.
Bye. I love you.